All right, today you're going to find out why some things are going to get extremely challenging before we transition into an amazing new earth. That's still going on, not to worry. But I want to share with you how that's working with the split that's happening between higher frequencies and lower frequency energy fields. Humans, you ready? This is going to be of utmost interest to you, and I know you're going to get this. Are you ready? Let's go. Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through those fears and live an amazing life. And yeah, strap on the seatbelt, tighten it, because we're going in. We're going into what? We've been going in. However, the tipping point is now starting to accelerate even more. Why is that? Well, the more we put on a scale, and at some point, that grain of sand or two or three makes it, boom, tip, right? Then we have an extreme tipping point. Now, why is that? More people are going into an awakened state. More people are seeing the world differently and making different choices. The more that happens, the more humans go into the higher frequencies, and the more we tip the scales on the planet. We don't need to be the majority here to do that. Those who are making low-density choices and are very stuck in the material world and not looking past that, or even if they do, have no interest in it, are going to fight harder to maintain their position because their entire lives have rested on the control of others. Massive amounts of money and power come from massive amounts of people allowing it. And so we've handed our power over, and of course in the past, when those who decided not to went in their own dense ways and battled and went into conflict to try and gain freedom, which worked. That's how it worked back then, right? But it doesn't ultimately work. Eventually, that starts to be skewed, because when you're coming from density and you battle things through density, you're still in density. So those structures then, of course, they don't hold up either, because look at the United States. What did we do? We battled for our freedom. Look at where we are. Look at what happened to the freedom. It's happening again. Even if you're like, we want freedom, and you get people in power, they will misuse and abuse it. There's always going to be a percentage that does that until we all shift over. Now, expect some extreme reactions, because what's going to happen is we're no longer going to go into conflict just complaining and saying, you're doing this and you're doing that, and of course me here saying, shut your pie hole, and, and giving you a spiritual butt kick to say, hey, listen, you don't have to go into that space anymore. We're creating our own world. That's the most powerful thing. We're creating our own. Instead of, let's just imagine this. Oh, the food you're giving me is laden with chemicals. This is horrible. You mistreat animals. What if we're over here creating our own gardens? Organic. We are not doing nasty things to animals. But the old world is to allow all of that and then to participate in it. We have to go into a space where we just stop participating in it. There are some things that we still, we still have to deal with. I'm not saying it's all going to go away. Eventually it will, yes. But when you stop supporting that world and saying basically that there's dense powers that have control over us, when you stop participating in it and you start to become the creator, the inventor, the person who inspires, the community that comes together, even if they don't all agree on everything, they come together to solve issues. Changes the entire planet. Big time, right? So, what does that do? What happens when somebody is not getting their way? What does a child do that's in a dense ego state? They scream louder and kick and scream. They may hold their breath. I'm not going to eat anymore. You know what I would say? Great. More for us. You know, and so that's what we're going to do now, is we're going to stop paying attention to this kicking, screaming child and allowing it to bother us. Oh, I can't stand the screaming. It's going to be like, you know what? I'm not even in the room with the screaming child. I'm going to be over here meditating in peace. And this is what we must do and stick to. A new earth counts on us running it, right? Individuals and diversity celebrated and coming together and accepted. That doesn't include judgment, including those who are fighting to keep power. No judgment there. We all came in on this together. We're on this trip together, all of us. That means you agreed to come on board with all those people. And if you're part of the complaining and what about this and what about if I hear one more thing about this, you know what? We know that human beings don't have those answers. Things take time to evolve. And depending on how we react to these things will determine what pathway that's going to go down. So whatever decisions you make about your body, your health, whatever, is your decision alone. It really is to make. And if there are those out there controlling certain things and you have no say or control over that as an individual, you still have an individual choice to go in another direction, which is what I did. 7 years ago, I was an investment banker. I did that for 20 years. I couldn't change the financial industry and make people stop acting corrupt every time they were around huge amounts of money. I had no control over the systems. I had some control about how I handled them and what I chose to do and if I was ethical or not. But the bottom line is, I had to go another direction, which is why I'm sitting here with you. You guys have seen this. What did I do? I got trained online. I created my own business. I said, you know what? I'm going to create something that is of value. I'm going to tell people honestly how things work. I'm not going to be selling stuff that's bad for people or a lie just to gain from it. I'm going to show people new ways and new things, which, yes, of course they have to pay for it. We all are living in a monetary system. You have to get over that too. And so I want you to understand that some things are still in place. We have to live with them, but we are changing that also. So give value to people. You can earn money. Get over that. I'm so tired of hearing, seriously, I'm so tired of hearing super empowered people who can be extremely wealthy and do amazing things with it, right? That's your choice what you do with that. Or you know, telling me that they're broke and, you know, I have advantages and all this stuff. You've got to get out of all of that limiting thinking. You have to get out of that limiting thinking if you want to live in an abundant, healthy world. Spiritual butt kick. Shut your pie hole. Yeah, seriously. I am not going to listen to that anymore for long periods of time. You come to me, I'll help you, and what am I going to do? I'm going to supply every course that's going to help you find those pathways. You guys come on over, Manifest Anything. It's free. I have probably dozens of master classes, 2-3 hours, where we hit those areas that you're dealing with. Why? I want to help people understand that if I help change you in the manner you want to be changed, and you make that choice on your own and you become a high frequency master, you just helped my world also, and all of us, because we are one entity, energy field anyways. So all you have to do is start making the most high decisions for yourself and watching that dissolve, because what's going to happen, it's going to collapse in on itself. It will, and you don't have to do a darn thing except for to stop supporting anything that's negative, meaning, and I'm not talking about what they're doing, I'm talking about what you're doing with it. Watching the negativity, believing the miscommunication. 99% of everything out there is not true. It's just not true. There's always a spin on it, right? Including my own opinion here. I believe what I believe in. You don't have to. But I'll tell you one thing that I do teach on my channel is total empowerment for the individual, and that we can respect each other's choices, and as long as we're not imposing some, negativity on other people that is infringing on their free will, which you ultimately can't do that anyways, it's all still a test, it's still teaching. So if somebody does that, what are you going to do? You learn from all of this. The subject matter is irrelevant. You can say, well, what about this? I'll say, well, what about this and this and this and this and this? The whole planet's loaded with crap, right? Stuff's going on all the time. Choose a subject. There's corruption in it. That's what we came here for. We're changing it, right? We're changing it. So get ready. You're going to see some real battles going on because people don't like to lose their power and their wealth. The ego can't stand it. It's going to kick and scream. And it's going to start imposing as much of trying to take our freedoms away as possible. That's already happening, right? They're going to try to take our freedoms away. So what do? We're going to come over here and create our own freedom. So if you lose your job, if you refuse to, do what your employers are told they have to do, great. Walk. If you have to, just walk. Go to some place and create your own job. Create your own business. Work for somebody who you respect. Do something over here that you may have never even thought of doing. And these circumstances are allowing us to think differently, and that's all good. It really is. I promise you that. Huge changes are going to happen. So be careful with anybody out there that has huge, let's just say, principles based on opposition, enemies, any kind of violence that incites that or encourages people to do things like that. Anything that is associated with that is absolutely not the new earth, no matter what that story sounds like. I want you to start using your little noggin because you got major, power here that knows if that's right or not. So we must absolutely support the peace, the compassion, the love of one another, no matter what it looks like, because that's not what you're seeing. You're seeing an illusion of a power that is exploring darkness and light in a physical body. I told you, awakening is humanity and the divine. Yeah, awakening is this dense human form waking up to what it is and understanding that that divinity can still function as a human being here and do unbelievable things. I don't know about you, but something huge did shift. I talked about the December eclipse and then the solstice, which happens every year. Something shifted major, and I feel like we've gone outside of our bodies further into a space where we're seeing things more clearly, because I have a course called Total Clarity. What is that? I'm showing you that you are power and what that power is and how to use it, and how as a human being, you got to understand it's always in operation. That power is always running. The quantum field doesn't go to sleep. It's always taking your directives and creating. And every thought that you have, if it's of a lower frequency, don't care what the thought is. Go by your frequency. I want you to think of everything as a frequency. Is it a low one or a high one? And you know what that is. You know the difference. But what if they're doing that? That's the dense world. That's the illusion. Get away from it. Step away. It's illusion. What about it? They're humans. We're not humans. We're amazing light beings playing this out, and this world could rock. And it will. It's already starting to. I'm feeling stuff. I'm shifting into new spaces with my own business. I'm going to share a lot of that with you guys. If you want to come join, these are free videos. Come over, explore it. Shut your pie hole. Don't like it, walk away. I'm giving the tools to manifest anything. And I really mean that. Do you believe me? If not, you just created that. And you can understand that. I'm not talking about, becoming something that you're not in this form. You're still a human being. But we can take this to such an extreme level that it will blow your mind. It's mind-blowing. So I'm going to talk more about this because you're going to see some things happening. Everything's energy. So we affect the earth, the planet. She's alive. This is a living entity. A living, very intelligent, conscious energy. And what happens is, if you are, picking a spot on your hand, for 24/7, it's eventually going to open up and bleed. So we're going to see some things happening on the planet if if it gets out of control out here in certain places. You're going to see certain cataclysmic things happen on the planet. Floods, you know, hurricanes, certain things. And on the other side of that, you're going to see some of those things subside because of the higher frequency. We can actually control that. We can control the weather. Don't believe me? Way too many situations out there that have demonstrated that that is true. And you don't have, again, you don't have to believe me. So you either believe limitations, which is sort of funny because those limitations keep changing all the time, right? Oh, now, you know, there is something faster than the speed of light. Oh, now there are other, you know, beings out there. Oh, well, when does it end? It doesn't end. It never ends because there's no limits. And we keep talking limits all the time. Oh, I believe in this, but I don't believe in that. Okay. You get to choose that. So watch it. Watch what's going on out there and don't get involved in that because it's going to accelerate and it's going to go down. But you can't hang on to something unless you're supported. And we're not going to support it. Are you? Are you? Because when you're looking at it and watching it, you physically and quantum connection entanglement wise are supporting it. Just your observation alone supports it. Shift over to another world. So, the little screaming baby's going to get worse. You won't even know it if you shut the door and you can't hear it. You don't even know what's going on. You will be busy doing something else. So, get ready. I'm very excited about this. I sense something very huge happening. And it's all good. And the more of us who stick to our ways of peace and compassion, understanding, no more blame or judgment, no more arguing with one another, come to another person and have no expectations. My friend who said, okay, I went and apologized to my sister for something that I did, and now I'm really upset because she didn't accept my apology. I said, oh, so you have conditions to that, expectations. I did this, you didn't act the way I want you to, so now I'm going to think about just me. That was all ego-based, wasn't it, right? I know you unconsciously did that. Oh, I'm upset, so it's about me and the reaction I want. That's still ego. So that you know, asking forgiveness doesn't even count, really, because you still wanted something from somebody else. And now that conflict's still there. Let it go. Let it all go. It's going to be the toughest thing that you may have to do is to actually release and let something go. I guarantee you at the end of the day, you're going to look back and go, I can't even remember half the stuff that you were upset about. I just don't even care anymore about this. I don't. It's a game. I don't want to play in those games. Do you? Let's create. Let's be amazing. You're amazing. You want to be a part of that world? You can. Anybody can. You just have to let go and let God and trust and have faith and know that this is all just playing out. It's just a moment in eternity. You will be going to that amazing space of love and unconditional love and just euphoria. You'll be back to that. So play this well, my friend. Play it well. You ready? Come on over. Manifest Anything's free down in the description. These are free. Come over, learn something new, get skills, get empowered. Stop handing your power over. And then, you know, somebody, you know, says you have to do something and then you lose your job and you're like, now what do I have? Right? Get new skills. In a world right now where we have global access to one another. And that's online. That's your thing. Come on over. Click. You'll get a free video series, a free webinar, how to create a hyper profitable online business. Doing what you love. Do what you love. Live that world that you love. That life. You only have this one. And you're unique in the entire multiverse. You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. You know, you can share my videos anywhere you want. Subscribe. Please support my channel. We have to spread some positive word, and that's all you're ever going to hear from me, because that's all that exists in my world. The rest, the teachings, the exploration, the adventure, the journey. Yeah, it's painful, but again, we signed up for it. So let's go. Let's do and be our best. Namaste.